The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And welcome into a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. Make sure to check out Boop Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. One of the ways we do that, of course, is player profiles, coaches' corners, interviews, shining light on people on this show. We will do the same today. Today's episode of Running Point will feature a player profile from Canfield senior girls basketball player Macy Kalina. Going to be a great interview. It was a great interview, I should say. And can't wait to play for you guys. Also, we'll have recaps and previews like we always do. Let's hop right into that scoreboard brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Pop it up on your screen. Hold on. One of those days, man. One of those days. Let's make it full screen. There we go. Scoreboard brought to you, presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Had a couple of good games last night. The first one was Austintown Fitch holding on to dear life against Boardman, 40 to 38, the final score. Fitch dodged a little bit of a bullet because they broke a golden rule at the end of the game. Seconds winding down. Mackenzie Riccatelli gets a shot off, and Austintown Fitch fouls the jump shooter. Up 3. They put Mackenzie Riccatelli on the free throw line. 3 foul shots, 1 chance to tie. Just over a second left in the game. Riccatelli hit the first, missed the second, and was kind of forced to miss the third because once you miss the second one, you got to get the rebound and putback. That's your only chance if you're Boardman. So they couldn't get the rebound. They couldn't get the putback. Fitch gets a good rebound. Ayla Ray had a great game, including the game-sealing rebound on that free throw. And Fitch wins 40 to 38. Ayla Ray having a heck of a season, averaging double figures. I believe the only player on the team right now averaging double figures. They have plenty of scorers, plenty of people chipping in. But Ayla Ray is averaging 11.8 points per game, and that trend continues as she got into double figures last night as well. We have Canfield coming back from the brink. They were down to Howland, and they had a great third quarter that just pushed them ahead of the Tigers. Howland ends up winning. Canfield ends up beating Howland 53-45. Final score there. Canfield needed this win very, very badly. They came off their first 2 AAC games losing to Boardman, losing to Fitch. They couldn't afford a third one. They just could not do it. This AAC probably going to beat each other up. Boardman just had their first loss, so now Canfield just 1 game behind Boardman. They're probably going to beat each other up a little bit in the AAC. Fitch still has to play Howland, and they still have to play Canfield again and Warren Harding again. So, they're gonna take some close games. They barely beat Boardman here, so Canfield's still in the running, but they couldn't get 3 games back, and it felt like that sense of urgency hit in the third quarter, where the Cardinals were like, okay, wait a minute, like if we want any chance of winning the AAC this year. We got to pick it up. And they did. They had a huge third quarter, and they used that to propel them to an 8-point victory over the Tigers. They held Alyssa Masucci to 6 points. So that's impressive defense by the Cards there, because that is not easy to do. Ashley Beulah St. John, they beat, I'm sorry, on the girls, their boys fell. Their girls beat Horizon Science Academy. Final score, 63-28. The Heralds get the win on the girls' side. On the boys' side, Horizon Science Academy gets the 8-point win, 78-70 over Ashley Beulah St. John. We scroll over and see that Maplewood came into Heartland and got the win over the Lions. Final score there was 63-32. All Rockets in that contest. Ursuline has a great senior night. They beat Youngstown East 59-20. Final score there. Warren JFK, tough one against Rootstown. That Rootstown defense is very legitimate. One of the things they do really well, and if you watched this game last night, you saw they're really good just adjusting their defense. They know, they kind of get a feel after 2 or 3 quarters what you're trying to do, what you do well, and then they take it away. Warren JFK made a run. I think even tied the game in the third quarter. Their 3 shots started to fall. Then Rootstown was like, okay, you're pretty good at shooting threes. You're having a good 3-point shooting night. And they ran them right off the 3-point line the rest of the game. That defense is really good at making adjustments mid-game, and it's a strong defense. What does it take to have a strong defense? Doesn't have to have talent. Now, Rootstown does have talent, but you don't need it. You just need effort and IQ. And Rootstown is a very high IQ basketball team. That tells me, they're able to adjust mid-game. Obviously, the game plan against JFK anyway, coming in, is you got to stop their perimeter shooting. But when JFK started to really lighten up in that third quarter tie of the game, Rootstown was like, okay, this is what we got to do. Defense locked down, made some adjustments, got them off the 3-point line, and they really slowed down the Eagles' offense from that point on. From the time it was tied, I believe it was 38-38. I was watching this broadcast, and Dom O'Brien had a great call. I believe it was tied at 38 after Dee Ryan completed a 3-point play the old-fashioned way at the free throw line. I think that tied up the game at 38. And then Rootstown's defense, you can tell, from that point on, only allowed 7 points. And they were able to win. I don't want to say easily because, it wasn't easy for Rootstown, but it ended up being a score down the stretch where Rootstown did not have to sweat it out down the stretch of the fourth quarter. 55-45. Your final. Rootstown is not a YSN team, so maybe YSN fans don't, fully understand, but Rootstown is a very good basketball team on the girls' side, and they're going to be a problem in, I believe, Division 3, whatever division, 4 or 3. I think it's 3 though. They're going to be an issue. They're going to be someone that these teams that we have at YSN have to deal with. They find ways to score. They're not going to blow you out with offense, but their defense is so dang impressive, and they put it on display when they had to. Last night, JFK has multiple games this season when they've scored 70+. So to hold that team to just 45, that's pretty impressive by the Rovers defense. East Palestine made a trip to East Liverpool, but it was the Potters that got the big win, 43-19. Final score there. Orange was able to hold on. This was a thriller in Orange. West Geauga had a last-second shot attempt. It was a contested layup. It did not fall, and that would have tied the game, but instead Orange gets the 2-point victory down the stretch, 46-44. Big win for the Lions over a very good West Geauga Wolverine team. I think this may be the biggest win of the season for Orange. Not a game that on paper they were supposed to win. That's why they play the game, and that's why the Lions are liable to upset people. Crestwood and Grand Valley got moved to today. It was supposed to be played yesterday. They had a wrestling event at Grand Valley last night, so they have bumped that game to today. Crestwood and Grand Valley playing tonight. Edgewood had to battle Conneaut on the road, but McKenna Vensel scores 19 points, and the Warriors find a way to a 46-41 win. Edgewood still undefeated, 11-0 on the season. We go to Jefferson. They fall to Geneva 47-38. And I believe also, that now that it popped in my head, I think Edgewood is the only undefeated girls team in the Ysn family. Hoban was undefeated for a while, but they lost to Louisville in that South Range Holiday Hoops Classic. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Edgewood and Crestview. Can't forget. I almost forgot Crestview. Can't forget Crestview. Edgewood and Crestview, the two undefeated teams in the Ysn family right now. West Branch beat Marlington on the road. It was a tough game. You watch this game. I was able to watch it on Facebook Live. A couple of the parents for West Branch were able to put it up. But, Marlington's always tough. They make you play physical basketball. They make you grind out every score you get. Chelsea Evanich is really hard to defend. Even when she doesn't score, she puts a body into you and she makes you feel her presence. So when West Branch comes out of this one, they come out with the win. It's one to be proud of. It's always, I don't care what Marlington's record looks like. They're a good basketball team. We've seen that against Canfield. They have the opportunity and the ability to go and play really good basketball. And two, it's just one that you earn. You really feel like you earn it because they are so physical. They make you work for everything. West Branch pulls out the 45-26 victory over Marlington. Salem gets the win over Minerva, so Salem stays hot, 50-29. Final score there for the Quakers. Badger all over Fairport Harding, 61-6. Final score there. Want to also congratulate Badger's own Katie Grexa for making the announcement last night on social media that she has committed to play basketball at Lake Erie College. She will be a Storm, and we're proud of Katie Grexa. We know that she's doing great things, and can't wait to see what the rest of her season has in store. And now we can say officially what the next level has in store for Katie Grexa. Big signing night for her. Hoban falls to Laurel last night, 42-40. Final score for that one. Laurel is a D2 now. Remember, they were D3 for a couple of years. They caused havoc in that region, in that district, but now Laurel moves back up to D2. But they're a powerhouse, and that's pretty much everyone on Hoban's schedule, it seems like. So the Gators have a couple of D1 players that are in their starting lineup. And I'm sure a couple of more that are young kids coming up in the ranks that will probably be D1 at some point. So a very, very good Laurel Gators team. Hoban fights to the end, but does lose. Both their losses this year by a combined 4 points. So Hoban, when they do lose, no one's dominating them at all. So I think when I'm watching Hoban, and I've had the chance to see them live once this year, and I've also had a chance to watch a couple of Ties broadcasts at Hoban for the girls team. One of the things I want to see going forward, and I think they have the players, a couple of players that can turn into this, but as balanced as they are and how great that is, you need balance. You need to be able to have multiple people score, and I've talked about that a lot. You still need that someone. If you're going to be elite, if you're going to be at the level that Hoban wants to be and win D1, you have to have that one player that has that dog mentality, that is going to go out there and just say, hey, it's time to take over the game and just do it. I think they have the players they can. I think Mackenzie Grant can be that kind of player. I think Mackenzie Edinburgh can be that player. But they just need that. They need that takeover mentality a little bit. And sometimes that can be hard when you have a team that is so balanced to tell someone like, hey, there are times when you do have to be selfish and just take over a game because it doesn't come natural to everybody. I know that's crazy to see. And like in our sports society, we always see the ones that are getting the most attention are the alphas that want to do that want to just put on a show and give me the ball and take over the game. But it really does not come natural to a lot of people. Those alpha mentality players that just take over the basketball game whenever they want to, those are kind of rare. You don't see them, as much as you think you would in the grand scheme and in the big picture. You see them a lot because those are the ones that get the limelight, the cameras on them. But you really, in reality, that kind of mentality is kind of rare. It doesn't exist a lot, and especially in girls basketball this year, for sure. There aren't a lot of girls this year that look like they're that dog mentality that they're going to take over the game. They are definitely there. I'm not saying there's none, but I feel like there was a lot more last year. There was a lot more a couple of years ago, and we've talked about the senior class that YSN as a whole graduated in girls basketball last year. A lot of those seniors were players that would just take over the game, and that's why some their teams would come out and win some of these close ones. So I'm talking about, like, Laura McCoy from Garfield last year. She could get into takeover mode super easily. Sophia Hook from Brookfield could get into takeover mode to say, "Hey, I'm taking over this game, and you're not going to stop me." Those are just to name a couple, but there Brooke Shantz, I think, from Western Reserve is another good example. I could go on and on. There were a lot of girls last year that graduated. It was a great senior class, and a lot of them just had that takeover mentality. And when I'm watching Hoban, they have a lot of great talent. They have great basketball players. They play really well as a team. They're really balanced on offense. But the one thing I would love to see by the end of the season is that one girl that wants to take over a game late in the game when it's close, when you just need that one player to just say, "This is my game now. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to go and score." And I haven't seen it yet from this squad. They had the close game against Louisville. It wasn't there, and Louisville had that. Brooke Heron just said, "I'm going to take over this game," and she did. And then, she got one of her teammates a really open look at the buzzer to win that game. So Louisville had it in that game, and in that particular instance, Hoban didn't have that takeover mentality, and they'll find it. Like I said, I think they have players. I watched that team; it's there. They just have to kind of harness that and still keep their balanced mentality. You can't lose that balance. That balance is so crucial, but you still, in those kind of times like this, where you're down 42-40 or you're in a close game, sometimes you need that one person that just steps up, puts on the cape, and says, "I'm going to take over this game." And they have the players to do it. So that's something that I'm sure is in the back of the mind of Coach Davis. Obviously, a great coaching mind down there at Hoban. And there are definitely things they need to improve on. I think another thing that I've seen in the couple games I've seen, now, granted, I've not seen every Hoban basketball game this year, but in the games that I've been able to watch, and the one game I saw live, sometimes defensive rebounding becomes a little bit of an issue there. We saw that happen in the second half against Louisville. The Leopards started to rebound a little bit better. In the first half, Louisville could not rebound at all against Hoban, and I was talking about it on the broadcast. They need to get out of this zone. They're not rebounding at all. Hoban's getting second chances left and right. And once Louisville got out of that 2-3 that they were in and morphed into more of a matchup zone in the second half, Louisville started to rebound a lot better. And it really, in the second half, one of the big differences in that game was Louisville just out-rebounded Hoban in the second half. So the little fundamental things, and I'm nitpicking, I get it. But when you're great, when you want to be great, and Hoban is a team that, has bigger aspirations than just winning a district, when you're that level, you have to be a little nitpicky a little bit, right? You have to be able to find, those splitting hair differences that will make or break in games like this against a team like Laurel, who, once again, very talented basketball team. To lose to them by 2, you played really, really well, and that's why we're splitting hairs here. We're trying to we're nitpicking the good teams, but that's what you'll do. That's what coaches have to do, and that's what you got to do to be great. You got to find things to get better at. Always, always, always. So that is your scoreboard from last night. Joe Merlillo says Ridge Rams is also undefeated. 3 teams. See, this is why I don't trust my brain on the fly. 3 teams undefeated: Middle Ridge, Crestview, and Edgewood. Middle Ridge going for their 11th win of the season tonight. So Middle Ridge, Crestview, Edgewood. Am I missing anybody? Probably. I probably am. Let's just be honest. This is why Anthony doesn't do things on the fly. It just came to my mind. I was like, "Oh, look, Edgewood's undefeated," And then, eventually I would have gotten there, Joe. I promise. I would have gotten to Middle Ridge. It just, it popped right into my head on the top of the head. And then it was like Crestview leaked in there, and then Middle Ridge would have came. I promise. It would have come to me. But that is the scoreboard from last night. We are going to take a break on Running Point, and then when we get back, oh, Joe, they do have a loss. Joe, you're confusing me. Joe, you're killing me, man. They do have a loss. I knew it, man. Springfield Edgewood. We'll just go back to Crestview Edgewood, right? Crestview Edgewood, the two undefeated teams. I thought, man, throwing me off a little bit. We'll take a break and we'll come back on Running Point, get back on track. Macy Kalina, player profile from Canfield, on the other end of this commercial break. She'll absolutely get us back on track on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa and I'm YN proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends in the top right-hand corner of the screen right there, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And one of the ways that we go the extra mile for you and try to follow Greenwood Chevrolet's lead is we feature player profiles and coaches' corners on this show and get the student athletes and the coaches as much limelight as possible. We had a chance earlier in the week to sit down with Macy Kalina, senior from Canfield, and one of the 4 seniors. We've talked to 2 of them now. We're making it through that senior class for Canfield. The other ones are coming. Promise you that, coming this season. But Macy was a great interview. Also a star on the softball field as well. So she has experience getting a team to state, getting a team to the state championship. Can the Canfield Cardinals do it in basketball? We'll see. Definitely have some experience on that team. We will go to Macy Kalina's player profile right now. Anthony Herbig here with a Canfield girls basketball player profile. I'm joined by one of their seniors, and Macy Kalina. Macy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And the first question is obviously about your senior year. What's it like? You know, you've gone through so much already in your high school career. What's it like coming into this year knowing that it's kind of the last go around and it's you got to treasure everything you got?
It's honestly a lot more fun because I get to have other people look up to me, and I get to set an example for other people now instead of looking up to other people, and I get to follow in their footsteps. So it's a lot more fun this year.
When we talk to seniors across the YSN family, they always say that it hits them in different times. Has it hit you yet that it's your senior year that this is kind of the last go around?
It hasn't fully hit me. When it really hit me is when we went to Huggins for the last time, and I realized I'll never get to have the sleepovers and stuff like that anymore. The fact that it's gonna hit me that these are my last games hasn't hit me yet. Probably senior night. That's when it's gonna hit me, or when it's over.
Yeah, senior night is in a little bit. You still have quite a bit of the season before then,
Yeah.
but you know yourself better than anybody. What are some of the emotions that you think you're going to be going through when senior night comes up?
I don't know. Hopefully, I don't cry too much. I'm very emotional. I probably will cry. I don't. Hopefully, I keep my cool, and I play good on that night.
One of the big hooplas of senior night is obviously the underclassmen love to give the seniors gifts, and they like to decorate your lockers and do things that make you feel like you're special that night. I'm trying to help the underclassmen out a little bit. What are some things that you think would be a good gift bag for Macy Kalina?
I don't know, cause I got so much for Christmas. I always just tell them like Starbucks is always good for every girl that always wants a little Starbucks as like gift. But honestly, like the best thing they can do for us is just make it fun for us.
Right.
We always have like a big party in the locker room before and
What
after.
are some of your favorite things that you've done for seniors of your past?
Scavenger hunt the night before. I think we're doing that this year, or the night of after the game. Yeah, we try to make us like matching shirts, make it a good banner for them to run through, and we just make sure that like it's fun for them and mostly fun for us too.
You've been able to accomplish so much in your high school career already, and you still have a while to go before you graduate. What are you most proud of? What are some of the things that you look back on and you say that like I'm really proud that I was able to do this?
I'm really proud that I was able to. I don't know. I guess I'm really proud to say that I've made probably some best friends that I'll probably have forever because of basketball and because of softball. I'm proud to say that I've watched everyone grow. I'm proud to say that I've grown. I've learned to deal with different challenges and having to overcome them, whether it's physical or mental, because of the sport and softball. I'm just proud to say that it's made me grow a lot as a person.
You've talked about, embracing the fact that you're a role model this year and being a senior and everyone's kind of looking at you to be a leader. First, let's talk about the people that kind of showed you how to do that. Who are some people that you've leaned on that showed you how to be a good leader?
Sophomore year, I always looked up to Summer, Samara, and Alyssa. And I wasn't always the closest with them, but I always looked up to them. And then my junior year, the seniors above me, they really like set the path for me and the intensity they need to bring each practice to make sure that we get better as a team.
And now that it's your turn, what's it been like to kind of see that script reversed, and now you're the one people are looking to, and you're the leader, and you're the one that the freshmen are saying, I want to be like Macy when I get to be a senior?
Sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not having a good day and they're looking up to you. It helps you make sure that that you don't let whatever happened in the day get to you, because they're looking at you in practice and they're looking at you to lead them and set a good example for them. So it's really it really makes me make sure that my emotions are intact.
Next year, if we ask, the next leaders, the next seniors, the same question, what it was like to be, your teammate and what impact you had on them, what do you hope their answer would be?
I hope that they would say that that they always heard that even if I was saying it in a mean, like not in a mean tone, but if I said it assertively. They understood the message. Then it all came from love, and that I was always there for them. They always feel like they can come to me if something was going on in their life besides basketball. That they could always call me even after I'm graduated and gone. I hope they know they can still come to me.
We all know that leadership also comes from the coaches that put you in that spot. Let's talk about Coach Real and his staff and what it's been like to be under him for the last 4 years of your basketball career and what he's taught you about yourself as a player and as a person.
Coach Real's taught me a lot. He's taught me to always just stay calm, because Coach Real doesn't really get worked up very much. I mean, he can, but he's always taught me to stay calm, stay humble, and he's always making sure that we're not selfish with anything. That's what he's really made me learn, and he's always just made me learn that it's just you just have to be nice to everyone, and you have to make sure they understand the message more than the tone.
Coach Real does have a very calm baseline, but I'm sure you have known him well enough to know what the team can do or what kind of things happen that get him a little bit more amped up or a little bit more upset, I guess you should say. What are the buttons that Coach Real has? What are some things that if this happens, it's not going to be a fun day because Coach Real's going to be pretty upset?
He always wants to make the one thing that in the beginning of the season especially is if the freshmen are all shooting at the same hoop before like practice starts when we're all warming up, if they're together and we're not including them because they're just freshmen, they don't really know anybody yet. We have to make sure that they're like separated so that we can get to know them. We always have to make sure everybody has rides everywhere, and we just have to make sure that it's not just like varsity that's together. It's he likes to make sure that JV is included with everything too.
What's it like having a coach that's also a teacher in the school system, and you get to see him during the day, and you kind of get to see the both aspects of him. You get to see him as a teacher, you get to see him as a coach.
I haven't had him as a teacher yet. I'll have him next semester actually, but I actually love having him there because it's just sometimes I just love walking in, especially me and the camis. We love walking in on his classes and interrupting him sometimes. But I think he finds it funny, and it's just a fun joke that we have with him.
You're talking about the freshmen and trying to make sure they feel included and building relationships with the freshmen. What freshmen do you think you've grown to know the most over the course of the season so far?
I can't say I know their personalities that much because they don't really show me that much. I think they're a little more timid. Like I know some of them are a little louder outside. But I have a few inside jokes with them. Jacqueline, call her Jay Quallen now. Like it's one of those funny little jokes that we have with them. But if I see them in the hallways, they always say hi, and they get a little shy, but they come out of their shells every once in a while for me.
And then when we talk about anyone that's going to be on the team next year, that you see shine for the next couple of years that you're going to feel proud of because maybe you've put them under their wing or you've taught them some stuff. Who is a player that comes to mind when you think of that?
I want to say I think of Sofia Castronova just because I've known her for many years, and her work ethic has gotten so much better this year. She's only a sophomore this year. But she's in practice. I've always tried to push her and make sure that she applies what she does in practice into games. She's working on it. She's getting so much better. She's doing because she plays so good against us in the varsity. And she's learning to apply that to her game now.
You have a solid group of seniors that I know you're close knit with. What's it been like to go on this journey with them and to be able to have this one last year with your other three seniors?
It's been kind of sentimental because we've all grown up, and Grace has gone so close with us, even though she came to us late. She's clicked in with me and the camis because sometimes we can be very cliquey because we did grow up together and we have a very tight friendship. And the way that Grace is intertwined with us is actually kind of like it was really cool to see the way she fit in with us. And playing with them is probably the best part about going to basketball.
All right, you play a softball too, basketball, softball. You have a lot of experiences, a lot of things about those sports. I'm going to ask you, what's the best feeling in sports? Like, what is it? A big shot? Is it a big defensive stop? Maybe a home run? Maybe a big hit? Big defensive play? For you, what is the best feeling that you make in a sport?
Obviously, like those big moments are the most important, like the best feelings you can have. And I've been a part of a lot of them, like game shots, like the past 3 games. Milana pitching, I've been a part of it, but I want to say like the biggest thing in sports that I've encountered is watching someone struggle with like a skill level they can't finish very well with their like passes or layups or whatever they're just struggling with, and they finally break that mental block and fight through it. And that's just like, that's one of the best things you can see, especially when it happens in a game. Like I'll start screaming, you know. Someone like struggles with threes and they just sink one.
You know, I'm sure you've dealt with enough adversity in your own career as well. What do you think is the biggest form of adversity you've faced throughout your career, and how did you get past it?
My sophomore year going into my junior year, sophomore year I was what they call it, like I was like the team leader that was for JV, you know. I was like a JV demon with Cammie, and going into junior year with varsity, got a lot faster and we had to adjust. I had to realize that my role was like not the point guard anymore like sophomore year. And I just had to adjust a lot and find my confidence again.
All right, let's talk about your future. We don't want to see you leave, but that's just the reality. You're going to graduate Canfield. You're going to do great things in the next chapter. What are some of your goals after you graduate that you have?
Well, I'm going to Ohio University, and my goal, I'm leaving everyone here. All my friends are staying, and my goal is just to make a lot of new friends. I hope I stay in touch with the girls still playing here because I want to know how they're doing. I don't really have that much.
You are the third player that we've interviewed this season that says they're going to Ohio U. So for you, what was it about Ohio University that made you want to go there, and what was the decision factor in going to Athens?
I toured there and I just felt like I belonged there. Like it kind of felt my vibe. And I know the nursing program that I want to get into there too. And I just kind of like the vibe of the place. I like the brick, and it's just kind of like a homey feeling, and I just see myself there.
Going there for nursing, what made you want to follow that career path? What made you passionate about wanting to become a nurse one day?
I can't say anybody in my family was a nurse because no one is. My mom told me that I could be good at it, and I kind of stuck with it because it sounds like it's something I could do. And my brother's gonna be a doctor, so it just kind of made sense, and I hope it works out. It's gonna be hard to do, but I hope it works out.
What are you going to miss most about this community and the Canfield, sports community that you've been a part of when you leave? And like you said, you're leaving everyone. You're going to a new place. It's a new chapter. So what are you going to miss the most about everyone back home?
I'm going to miss my best friends definitely the most. I'm going to miss my dogs. And I'm going to miss my dad's cooking. I'm going to miss a lot. But I know we're all going to stay in touch. But yeah, I'll definitely miss my best friends the most.
What is one life skill you're going to have to learn before you move and live on your own?
Probably to be less picky. My dad makes my food, and he knows exactly what I like and what I don't like. And when I go to college, I'm not going to have my options. So I hope I can be less picky.
What's your dad's best meal?
Cajun chicken pasta.
Like spicy. I like it.
Yeah.
Lacey, before we let you go, I want you to take the time to shine a light on the people in your life that support you and that you wouldn't be here without, and give out your thanks. I'm going to give you as much time as you want to do that.
Okay, thank you. I want to give a shout out to my brother. He played basketball too. He's helped me with my game over the summer a lot. My grandpa, he's been there for both of my siblings' athletic careers, still with my sisters, and he's always told me what I did good, and my mom, she's always told me what I've done bad and that what I did good, but or done good. Just my entire family, they're my support system, and they're the ones that help me get through everything and all the adversity.
All right, Macy, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate the time. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the senior season, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you.
That was Macy Kalina, senior of that girls basketball team at Canfield. They had a big win last night against Howland, one that they desperately needed. Could not afford to get 3 losses in the AAC. And big third quarter where Canfield scores 29 points in that frame was the difference maker in that one. Let's pop from a player profile to a preview of the next day's games. We'll hop into tonight's schedule on the scoreboard, which is presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. Let's hop from yesterday into today. January 11th, Thursday, as we start towards the middle of January. It is girls' night on the network. Lots of girls basketball, some conference games, some out-of-conference games. We have Hubbard taking on Lakeview at home. The Eagles trying to protect the nest against the Bulldogs. Champion trying to get 11th win of the season. They'll go up against Brookfield inside the MVAC. Remember, Champion just one game back of conference leading Crestview. Jackson Milton trying to do a better job against Springfield. They are a much improved team, so we'll see how that one goes tonight. LeBray tries to bounce back as they travel to Garfield. Newton Falls will make a trip to Camel tonight. Sebring goes to Middle Ridge. Poland back to NE8 play, hosting Struthers. Liberty will go to Crestview tonight as the Rebels try to stay undefeated. Lowville will go to McDonald tonight. Conference play for Cardinal Mooney as they host Steel Valley Conference rival Cheney. We have Mohawk and Neshannock playing each other. In PA, Girard goes to Niles. Girard, if they win against Niles, and it sets up a pretty big game on Saturday against South Range, really the winner of that game will have a chance against Poland inside the conference. And the loser of that game, especially if it's South Range, would be kind of knocked out of contention, barring something crazy happening. Girard put up a heck of a fight against Poland the first time around. And they'll have the Bulldogs at home later on the season. So they're trying to beat Niles. They'll have to go on the road against Niles, who is a very improved Dragons team, has won quite a bit this year, has a really good post that can move pretty well. So Niles is a test, and then if they win against Niles, they're going to have to go back on the road on Saturday afternoon and play the Red Hot Raiders right now, who have won 4 in a row to this point. Sorry, someone honked outside and I was distracted. We go to Ashbyville St. John coming off their win last night. They will hit the road this time to Lordstown. Valley Christian will travel to United. We have Wellsville taking on Latonia on the road. Edison at home welcomes in Weirton. We have East Palestine. They will be at home against Lisbon. Southern Local and Columbiana playing for first place in the EOAC. Remember, they both have one loss in the conference. So does United. So the winner of this game will be tied in first place with United. They all have lost to each other. Southern beat United. Columbiana beat Southern. United beat Columbiana. So we'll see how that goes, how that shakes out. But a big one going down in Salineville tonight in the wigwam of Southern Local and Columbiana. Beaver Local will play at Indian Creek tonight. And then remember, The Grand Valley Crestwood game that was originally scheduled for yesterday, that has been moved to today. So that one will be played in Grand Valley. Let's go over the announcers, who will be where, and what you can see on the network tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on the network tonight. Nowhere else where you can find that quantity. I promise you that. We do the best that we can to get every game up. First and foremost, we'll have Beaver Local. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong day. Well, first and foremost, we will have Hubbard hosting Lakeview. Sam Ballast and Dick Nicholas will be on the call there. Ty Bartell going to be in Mooney as Cheney comes to town. A big one in the Steel Valley Conference. Noah Doty going to be on the call for Jackson Milton at Springfield. The School Broadcast Network in Garfield will take care of you for the G-Men hosting LeBray. And we'll have Steve Hodge in Camel as the Red Devils host Newton Falls. Tim Corso going to be making the trip to Middle Ridge to see them play Sebring. Middle Ridge, one loss on the year. Yeah, I'll recant. I was thrown off a little bit. Thought that someone was trying to say that Middle Ridge was still undefeated. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, I guess I'll trust them. Joe, looking at you, buddy. All good, Joe. I'm just teasing. Middle Ridge will go to see Coast Sebring. Tim Corso will be at Middle Ridge for that one on the network. I will be in Poland with Sam Masucci, Poland Jr. We will have your coverage of Struthers in Poland inside the NE8. Liberty will be at Crestview, and Tony Perazio will be on the call for that one as the Rebels try to stay undefeated. Louisville going to McDonald, Matt Marr, and Jordan Barber on the call there. Our good friend and CEO, DJ Oakley, going to be in East Palestine, his home school, as Lisbon comes to town. That should be actually a pretty fun matchup between the Bulldogs and the Blue Devils. Lila Martin playing really well of late for East Palestine. We'll see if she can continue that feat. Eric Hughes is going to be in Mohawk as they host Neshannock. We'll have Tyler Hartz in Grand Valley for that rescheduled game against Crestwood as well. We have swimming on the network tonight as well. Orange versus Eastlake North in Cuyahoga Heights. And that one will be done by the Orange School broadcast team. So swimming will be on the network tonight, along with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games on the network. So that is going to be a fun one. And when I'm looking at this schedule, and I'm looking at the matchups, and I know there are some on paper that you think, okay, that's a sleep game, and that's one that we don't have to worry about. Those games can be sneaky. The ones I'm really looking at tonight, the ones that I'll have an extra eye on, outside of my own, of course, Poland and Struthers matching up in Poland. I'm looking at the big game in Mooney against Cheney. Mooney and Cheney. Shocker that Ty Bartell, Big Gabe Bartell, going to be on the call in Youngstown. I think that's a really good matchup. Mooney, if the right Mooney shows up, they've been a little inconsistent this year, to be fair. But when they stay out of foul trouble and they have Sam Rotuno get some space with third perimeter shooting, and then they let Diorio with her drive and her mid-range jump pull up three. She can create off the dribble. She can shoot the three. I think Rotuno is their more consistent threat from beyond the arc. They would love Diorio to be more of that slasher, mid-range jumper type player, but she can hit threes as well. They can get those two going, get some contributions from, Katie Pregabon and Huff, Tanisha Huff. Then they can really be a good team. Cheney, of course, what can you say about Alyssa Brown other than freshman phenom? She'll come in. She'll probably, be able to drop 20 plus like she always does. No surprise there. Can they get supporting staff? Can Mooney shut down the rest of the team? That's going to be a big one. I think the defense of Cheney is pretty underrated this year. And they're having a better year than they've had in a long time in Cheney. This is exciting times for their girls basketball program. And I know it would be a huge program statement if they were able to go into Mooney and beat the Cardinals in SVC play. It would be the first time in the new SVC, at least, that Cheney had gone and beaten Cardinal Mooney in conference play. So they're looking for that. They're going to need a big, big game out of their superstar. But I think it's going to be a very fun matchup. I think Louisville-McDonald is going to be a good game as well. The Rockets have proven that they can definitely score with the best of them. They have given a couple of really good teams a run for their money. Remember, Western Reserve struggled a little bit against them on the road. Springfield had to fight against Louisville. They are a team that is right there on the precipice, on the doorstep of being a contender. They're young. We talked to Coach Modelski before the season started. They're confident, but they're young. And this is kind of a flip from last year, right? Last year they were experienced, but they had to work on their confidence through the year. And now this year they're a confident bunch as ever, but you're still going to get those young mistakes every now and then. So Louisville, they can do a lot of good things, and they're going to go to McDonald, the team that desperately needs a win. They're trying to find positivity. Started the season pretty good, but they've had a couple of rough ones in a row. So McDonald trying to find positivity. They're at home. One thing you know about Coach Matisse down there at McDonald, really good at player development. So his players are going to be better every day, every game. So you can never count out the Blue Devils based on what they've done the last couple games. Some other things I want to see from this schedule that I'm looking at, I'd love to see how Jackson Milton does the second time around against Springfield. They are, like I said, they're playing a lot better. They gave Middle Ridge a really good game, I think, even though the score ended up being a little lopsided, especially that first quarter. Jackson Milton came out ready to go. I like what I'm seeing from the Blue Jays. They held Jamaica Brungard to 6 points in the first matchup. So that's impressive. That's the lowest point total that Brungard has had all season. If they could do that and then survive the guard play of Springfield, then they can be fine and they can compete. So we'll see what Jackson Milton does the second time around in the jungle. Outside of that, it's a bunch of fun ones. Obviously, Columbiana Southern. I mean, what more can you say? It's a battle for first place. Last time they played, Columbiana kind of one-handedly. This was the one matchup of the three conference leaders between United Southern and Columbiana. The one matchup in round one between all three of those teams that was not close. Like, it was Columbiana. They dominated. They held Ashley Schroeds down. Alyssa Schroeds had 0 points. So they need to get their offense going against Columbiana's defense that has played really well this year. And then Columbiana has a pretty balanced offense people aren't talking about. Ellie Venezia, she's the one that everyone expected, but you have A.B. Rapp playing really well this year. Taylor Long has scored in bunches. So you have a couple of players that can really beat you. Can Columbiana's balance counteract the superstar power that Southern Local has? That'll be a fun one down there in Salineville. The Indians, I think if they win this, they can feel pretty confident because they've already got the win over United too. So if the Indians win this game and pull off the win at home, they kind of feel, they'd puff out their chest a little bit, ready for the rest of the EOAC play. So I'm looking at that one, of course, as well. Can't wait for this matchup, this slate of games tonight. It's going to be fun. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find all the action. Make sure to tune in tonight to our wonderful broadcasters. They do a fantastic job, as they do every night, being prepared, being ready to go, and calling great action. We'll be back tomorrow on Running Point from 1 to 2 to talk about all the action from tonight. We'll have another player profile featured, and we will also preview the night's action for tomorrow. We have a full slate of games on a Friday to lead you to the weekend, playoff weekend in the NFL. It's the most exciting time of the year, but basketball, going to give you a little bit of an appetizer. I know a lot of games got moved up on Saturday because the Browns are playing at 4. So make sure to check those time schedules. We'll go over that tomorrow too, on what times have changed from basketball on Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running